Rose Days of Our Lives, May 27th. Rose heartbreak, secrets, and desperate pleas. The drama reaches a fever pitch in Salem. As the sun rises over Salem this Tuesday, May 27th, the beloved town is brimming with tension, turmoil, and the haunting echoes of secrets that refuse to stay buried. Fans of Days of Our Lives will not want to miss a moment of the emotional unraveling that awaits as families are tested, friendships are strained, and hearts are broken. Let's dive deep into what promises to be an unforgettable day for the residents of Salem. Broken heart, a devastating diagnosis. Tate faces the truth about John Black. The day begins on a somber note as Tate Black, Leo Howard, receives heartbreaking medical news about his grandfather, the legendary John Black, Drake Hodgson. For decades, John has been a pillar of strength in Salem, surviving brainwashing, mistaken identities, and near-death experiences. But now he faces what may be his toughest battle yet. Tate, who has always seen John as a symbol of unwavering courage, is shaken to his core. With his voice trembling and his hands shaking, he confides in Chanel Dupree DeMera, Raven Bowens, and Johnny DeMera, Carson Boatman, both of whom gather around him like a protective circle of love and support. Chanel, grappling with emotions of her own, manages to be the rock that both men need in this moment of crisis. As the three lean on each other for strength, Salem is reminded that no matter how fractured a family may be, love has the power to bring people back together even in the darkest hours. Woman, girl, mother, and daughter divided, Gabby confronts Ari in the town square. Meanwhile, Gabby Hernandez, Sherry Jimenez, is at her wit's end. Her daughter, Ariana Ari Horton, Marissa Reyes, has been missing, and when she finally turns up, the reunion is anything but joyful. Gabby's love for Ari is fierce. Perhaps too fierce at times, and when she catches up with her daughter in the town square, her emotions come spilling out. But this isn't a tearful embrace between mother and child. No, this is a storm of questions, accusations, and years of pent-up fear and frustration. Where was Ari? Why did she run away? And more importantly, who was she with? It turns out Ari wasn't just hiding. She was with Doug Williams III, Peyton Meyer, and not in a way that Gabby finds remotely acceptable. As the shocking truth begins to emerge, Gabby finds herself questioning not only her daughter's choices, but also the way she's raised her. It's a moment that will leave longtime fans of the show breathless. Gemstone: a request, a romance, and a hidden agenda. Doug has a favor to ask after dealing with Ari. Doug's next stop is to find Leo Stark, Greg Ricart. Leo, never far from trouble or temptation, is in the middle of what seems to be a passionate moment with Javi Hernandez, Al Calderon. When Doug interrupts, but Doug isn't just here to cause trouble. He has a request, and it's a strange one. He wants Leo's help with a mysterious mission, the retrieval of Julie Williams' Susan Seaforth Hayes' missing necklace. Why Doug believes Leo is the man for the job remains unclear, but one thing is certain: Leo is intrigued. Whether he's driven by loyalty, mischief, or something else entirely, Leo agrees to help. What follows could lead to a daring escapade involving disguises, deception, and maybe even danger. Fans can only imagine what Leo will get into next. Family, woman, girl, a mother's judgment, a daughter's independence. Sophia and Amy face off over at the bar. Sophia Choi, Rachel Boyd, is facing a different kind of challenge. With her 18th birthday behind her, she is now legally an adult. And she's using that newfound freedom to begin the process of placing her child for adoption. With Melinda Trask, Tina Huang, by her side, Sophia begins what she hopes will be a hopeful journey toward finding a loving family for her child. But before she can fully commit to this future, she must confront her past. Enter Amy Choi Sherna Nielsen, Sophia's mother, whose disapproval is palpable from the moment she walks into the room. Amy is furious. She can't believe Sophia is making such a monumental decision without her blessing. But Sophia, steady and composed, reminds her mother that she's no longer a child. Her voice may tremble, but her resolve does not waver. This is her choice, and she won't be bullied out of it. This mother-daughter showdown is intense and emotional, a reminder that growing up isn't just about age. It's about courage and conviction. Broken heart, a terrifying turn. Holly's silent struggle, and finally, as the episode winds down, the camera lingers on Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis. Alone, scared, and glancing nervously over her shoulder. While much of Salem is consumed with their own drama, Holly is facing something far more sinister. A stalker has entered her life, and the threat is growing by the day. Whether it's anonymous notes, eerie phone calls, or shadows outside her window, Holly knows she's being watched. And worse, she knows she may be running out of time. Who is after her? What do they want? And can anyone save her before it's too late? Crescent Moon Closing Thoughts. Tuesday's episode of Days of Our Lives reminds us why we've tuned in day after day, year after year. Next, collision of family torn apart. Maggie and Xander's explosive showdown shakes the Kiriakis' mansion to its core by Salem Digest staff writer. Salem fans, hold on tight. The emotional storm that's been brewing behind the grand doors of the Kiriakis' mansion has finally exploded, and the fallout may change this family forever. In a heart-wrenching and fiery confrontation, Xander Cook, Paul Telfer, and Maggie Kiriakis' Suzanne Rogers go head-to-head in what may be one of the most powerful scenes of the year. Tensions have been high in the wake of recent events, particularly concerning Philip Kiriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, who has been hospitalized under mysterious and troubling circumstances. But what happened next has nothing to do with hospital beds or medical charts. This is about broken trust, shattered promises, and one man's desperate fight for a place in his daughter's life. Let's walk through the emotional wreckage, piece by piece. Bomb. A mother's wrath, a father's plea. The confrontation begins. The confrontation takes place where so many Salem dramas have begun. In the stately and intimidating Kiriakis' living room. It's a room that has seen love, betrayal, and more than a few slaps across the face. But this time, the pain is deeper. It comes in the form of harsh words and irreversible truths. Maggie, heartbroken and furious, doesn't waste time. She calls Xander out with a brutal honesty rarely seen between them. "You're dirty," she spits, her voice quivering but firm. "Victor didn't want you in this house after what you did to Philip, let alone owning half of it." Xander, clearly stunned but not entirely surprised, tries to keep his voice calm. "I won't fight you for the house," he says, "but I will fight to be in my daughter's life." For a brief moment, there's silence. And then Maggie replies, with fire behind her eyes and steel in her spine. "I supported you when no one else would. I gave you a place in this family. But I've also restrained Victor Kiriakis when he crossed the line. And I won't hesitate to do the same to you." Brain, mental illness, double standards, and a lifetime of pain. Xander, feeling backed into a corner, lets out a truth he's clearly been holding in. Why is it that when Philip does something cruel, everyone's quick to call him troubled or sick in the head? But when I do something wrong, I'm a monster? It's a pointed question, and for a moment, Maggie is visibly shaken. But she doesn't retreat. "I have defended you," she says, her voice rising. "I have fought for you and Sarah to be a family. But this isn't about what you did to Philip. This is about the promise you made to both of us, and the way you shattered it. You made a fool of us both," she says, voice cracking. "And for that, I will never forgive you." Receipts, secrets, and the letter that changed everything. But Xander has his own wounds, and he's not afraid to expose them. "You and Sarah kept the truth from me," he reminds her. "That fake letter, how long did you two plot that lie? How long did you think you could protect me from my dark impulses?" Maggie's reply is cold and final. "We weren't protecting you from Philip. We were protecting you from yourself." Then, without another word, Maggie walks out of the mansion and leads Xander not to a guest room, not to a hotel, but to his old, humble apartment. It's symbolic. It's cold. And it's final. "You will never set foot in the Kiriakis' mansion again," she tells him. The door shuts behind her. And just like that, Xander is no longer welcome in the house that once offered him the closest thing to a family he's ever known. Hospital. Meanwhile, at the hospital, more pain. More secrets. Back at the hospital, another emotional storyline is unfolding. Sarah Horton, Lindsay Godfrey, finds herself at the nurse's station, talking with Kayla Brady, Mary Beth Evans. Both women carry wounds from their pasts, personal losses, betrayals, impossible choices. The quiet exchange between them offers a moment of peace in an otherwise chaotic day. But that peace doesn't last long. Brady Black, Eric Martsolf, shows up with hard questions about Philip. He wants answers. Sarah, who has been through more than her fair share of trauma, isn't ready to relive the nightmare. Not yet. And just when she thinks the day can't get worse, Xander walks into Philip's hospital room. Philip has been taken away for testing, but Sarah is there, stunned and angry. "What are you doing here?" she asks coldly. Xander doesn't flinch, but Sarah, overwhelmed by pain and rage, threatens to call security. Before she does, she updates him on John Black's condition, delivering the blow that she blames him for John's dire state as well. But Xander is quick to fire back. "All of this could have been avoided," he says, "if you had just told me the truth about that letter." The pain between them is as sharp as ever and just as unresolved. Two broken people, circling each other like ghosts of the life they once had. Balance scale final thoughts. What happens when the family falls apart? The Kyriakis family has always walked a thin line between loyalty and destruction. In many ways, Maggie and Xander have symbolized both the strength and fragility of that family bond. But after today's events, it's clear that some lines can't be uncrossed. Maggie's love is fierce, but it's not unconditional. And Xander's desperation is real. But so is the damage he's caused. With so many pieces broken, the big question now is, can anything be salvaged? Or are the fractures in this family finally too deep to mend? Stay tuned, Salem watchers. The answers are coming, but in true Days of Our Lives fashion, they may come at a steep price.